Hi everyone, good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on the time zone, wherever you're joining us from. It's good to be on this session again. It's the continuation of the 30 days of learning, and this is the data analysis track. Today, we'll continue the journey. We'll be building on top of one another as skill. We started from Excel, what exactly is data analytics in itself. We've moved to Power BI. We've done that data modeling. We've imported data from different sources. Today, we'll be dealing with data storytelling with Power BI. The ability to tell story with your skill is very, very important. And the way you tell story determines how people get the kind of value or message they get from whatever you're sharing with them. It is not just sufficient to have the bar graphs, bar charts, to have the donuts, to have the tables and visualization cards on your Power BI report. That in itself is not enough. It is the ability to think through and tell a story with your data. That is when they can consume those content and have it in mind, and those stories will definitely stick to their mind. I have the privilege of hosting today one of the best storyteller, that I've come across since I've been on this journey, Paul Nakwe. I've seen a couple of his work, dedicated, outstanding. A lot of people are picking inspiration every day from the things he has done. And today I have Paul with me on the call, who will be walking us through data storytelling with Power BI. Hi, Paul. Are you there?
Hi, Mr. Ola. Can you hear me clearly?
Very loud and clear, if that pitch is maintained.
Yeah, it's nice. Thank you for the introduction. I'm really honored to be here. So, can we proceed with the
Yes,
lesson?
we can
Great.
proceed now.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Paul Inakwe. I am a data analyst and I try to tell stories with data. So, coming into the data analysis journey, I have a background in digital marketing. So I've been in the media for like a long while. Then I just found social media fascinating, and data actually helped me to tell my stories more, like be able to see conversation and how they impact different area of life. So here I'm going to be taking you through data storytelling with Power BI, and I also want you guys to follow through. This is very important, and I'm sure we have beginners, we have people who are intermediate in this session, and I'm sure that you're going to learn something from today's session. So let me just dive right in. What is data storytelling? So I got this definition, and I think it's just simple and straight to the point. It says data storytelling is the ability to tell a story with data and to personalize the data for audiences. So it's not just you telling a story, like you have this audience who you're communicating this story to. So combination of storytelling and also data personalization. And let me give some examples in my next slides. You are familiar with it, but you might not be too sure. But let me just give you these examples. um, I don't know how many of us use YouTube Music or Spotify or any of your streaming platforms. At the end of the year, they come up with like this summary for you. And one thing about this summary is that it's very personalized. So I think as human beings, we love things that are personal to us, like things that are customized to us. It makes us feel somehow special. So these brands have found a way to use their data to tell stories about you. So you can go at the end of the year and see the popular artists you've listened to, how many hours you've listened. Like that is the data. How many hours popular artists you've listened to, the genre of the songs you like, and a whole lot of other summarized data for you. So you have seen it, and that is part of data storytelling. Another example is if you have Google Map. I think at the end of the month, you have like this timeline story where they kind of tell you how many miles you've walked, how many miles you've traveled, the cities where you have reached, and the likes. So these big brands are, using data storytelling to connect with their audiences. So why not you? You can also do that. So let's jump straight right into the technical session. Why is data storytelling important? If you know the amount of data we generate every second, like it's voluminous, it's plenty, as my people will say. So why should I come and tell like my stakeholders that, oh, do you know that we have like, why not present it in form of a story so that they can connect to it easily? So instead of you telling me, oh, do you know that you've listened to like five artists out of, let's say, 1,000 on YouTube Music? Why not you just give me a visual, a summary? I don't need to go through the data, the Excel sheet, and say, oh, how many times have I listened to this person? No, why not you summarize? Why don't you summarize the data, and I'll be able to connect. It's easy, it's fancy. Oh, my eyes appreciate this. Oh, I'm able to see this just at a glance. So, data story is a very important skill for the future. Why? Because data is growing at a very exponential rate. So, it will be easy for you to, it's better for us to condense this data and also like communicate the summary to our respective audiences. So, the next slide, data storytelling steps. And today we want to talk about Power BI, data storytelling with Power BI. Why is it very important? Your foundation, let me, before we move here, before coming up with your dashboard or your reports, why why not work on the foundation first? If the foundation is faulty, like the Christians will say, what can the righteous do? So if you have faulty foundations, at the end of the day, whatever you produce, whether it's a report or a dashboard, might not communicate the right things you want your audience to get. So there are steps you must follow. If you build the foundation right, then I think it will progress, your project will progress smoothly. So the first step we start with is the discovery stage. At the discovery stage, you have data. So today we are going to be doing we are going to be building whether a dashboard or a report. If the time permits us, we can do both. And today our case study is the hashtag for this. We have two hashtags. One is NG 30 days of learning, and I think there's another one too. So we are using those two hashtags. We pulled data from Twitter, and we are going to use that to tell a story. So now, first, you have to know your data. Know what the data is. When you look at you have Excel sheets, you have data, you are pulling data from databases and the likes. You have to know what the data contains. You have to look at the columns. You have to understand, oh, is this data about a textile industry? Is this data about music? Is this data about movie? So you understand the metrics you are going to be using and what will be important. So you have to know your data before jumping. You don't just jump into Power BI and just start analyzing. You have to look at your data and understand the data. Then number two, you have to know your audience. Your audience is very key. So for myself, I don't know if you've gone to my Twitter page, you might see a pinned tweet, and that's the music analysis. Yes, music dashboard for Twitter I did about Rema's last album. I looked at my audience. My audience generally on Twitter is a very wide space. So basically, I don't want to just constrain the dashboard to the data professional audience, because that will require me putting a lot of interactive tools. It has to be a very interactive dashboard, and it's only people that are like most times professionals in data that will be able to actually get this. But I know that okay, I was doing something for the general audience. I want somebody in, so a teenager, like somebody with little knowledge of tech, to be able to interpret this data that okay, this is what this means. Okay, this album did well here, and people were tweeting about this on social day and the likes. So you must know your audience and the how your audience their ability to use dashboards, because that would determine the kind of reports you are going to be building. So if you are presenting to, let's say, data analysts, like your fellow teammates of analysts or data scientists or data professionals, you know the kind of dashboard or report you are going to be building is going to be different. But if you are just presenting for like board members, like your general stakeholders, you would want something less complex than what you are building for data professionals. So your audience also matters. And number three, define objectives. So at your objective is just like the start of any plan. Define what you want to do. So you've seen the data, you know your audience, you can start looking at, okay, I think this particular metric will be important to the audience. I think this is what you want to see. But most importantly, you need to have the requirements. And that takes us to the next slide. The next slide is the requirements. For every project, there is always a requirement. So for this Twitter analysis we are going to do today, we already understand what we want to show. So I want to show the number of people that are actually using that hashtag, and we constrain the data to just June alone. So we want to see how many people have tweeted with that hashtag in June, then how many tweets have they actually made. So which day, like, do they tweet the most and the like. So I already know that, okay, at the end of the day, this is what I want to see. So that would guide me into my analysis, my data storytelling, and every other thing. Then also determine the audience analytical maturity. I've already discussed about that, in knowing your audience. Then number three, incorporate stakeholder preferences. So this is not just about music analysis. This is not about movie analysis. This is not about your industry. Like, it's not about one particular industry. So as a data person or a data professional, you can be working, you can be a freelancer, and a freelancer will mean that you have to work with various industries. But if you're working for, let's say, a bank, you know, when designing your reports, you have to incorporate the brand colors. That's your bank colors. You know, some banks are heavily with the red and white. You can use that. You know, some telephone brands that usually use yellow. Definitely. So just try to incorporate their logo, their brand materials into your dashboard. So like it's personalized to them. Then number three, the next one says prioritize business questions. Sorry, it's number four on the list. Prioritize business questions. So at the end of every report, sometimes some kind of data you have, you can get numerous insights. You can have tens of insights you would want to bring out. But at the end of the day, because you are telling a story, like you have a time frame to catch your audience attention, you wouldn't want your analysis or your reports to be like 50 pages or like or the likes. You have to determine which one is very important. What would they love to see? And that would determine what you're going to put on your report and your dashboard. And determine the number of views needed to answer the business question. So you are having to show, so today we are having to just show the summary of the number of people that tweeted, how the hashtag progressed on Twitter, and we also want to look at the contents of the tweets themselves. So basically, we should be having 2 to 3 pages. So we need 2 to 3 pages of a 2 to 3 page reports. Then the next one says map out design. So you can now proceed after you've gotten the requirements, you can proceed to map out the design. So sometimes you don't, some people are gifted. Maybe when they are building their dashboards or building their reports, they just start putting everything together. But to be very safe, you can draw out your plan. You can use the pen and the paper, just draw out how the dashboard will look like, what will be where, and you can see on the right, like here you have title, banner, text, and the like. So you can just draw out a simple layout, and you can use different tools to do that also. Then the next one, determine the colors. Okay, prioritize. I mean, look at the information flow. What is most important? The most important metrics, you want them to be above. Prioritize the most important things because that is what will hold your audience attention. So imagine us coming to say, oh, do you know that a total of 5,000 people have tweeted about this hashtag in just 20 something days? Like, you've captured the audience attention, like they did not know before. Like, it might be a big deal to them, or it might be, if it's a negative number, if you're having a low number, it will be very surprising. So you put those things first, and that's why most times you see a lot of people put the big BAN numbers. They call it big ass numbers. Sorry. So those are your cards, numbers of your cards, the metrics. Oh, we made 50 million in sales. Another metric shows profit. Another like in big, you can see them very big. It's prioritized. So you can use hierarchy for that. Then another thing, you also have to talk about the fonts and the icons you have to use for your reports and dashboards. Then another one is using the right visuals. So definitely, if you are showing something over time, it makes sense instead of why using a bubble chart to show something over time, or why use a pie chart when you can use a line graph. I was looking at a video recently, and the person was like, "That's why they call it timeline." So you can use a a line chart to display your data over time, your metric over time. So that is the right kind of visual to use in that case, but not a pie chart instead. So you must know the right visuals to use for the metric you want to show. And we have series of examples here for comparisons, for data over time. Like in Power, all these visuals are available in Power BI. I'm going to add the link, this particular guide at the end of the session, so that you can go there and you can use this as a guide when building your reports and dashboards. So let's move to the next one. So for dashboard design, some things to note. Color is very powerful. Color is very powerful when building reports. So sometimes color, like when scrolling, you're on Twitter, you're scrolling through a white space and you come across a wonderful combination of colors. You would want to stop to actually check what is this. So that's how powerful your color is. So your use of color for dashboards, your use of color for reports are very important, and it's something we've seen a lot of people like use very well, and we are interested in reading their reports. We're interested in what they have to say and the likes. So when using colors, you have to be creative. You have to assist the audience. You have to also make sure that your color is visually accepted. Now, let me show you the next slide so you understand what I mean. If you can see this next slide, like the image is jarring to the eyes. So imagine using this kind of combinations on your dashboard. It kind of puts people off. So you must learn how to use colors, to visually appealing colors on your dashboards and reports. And there are tools that can help you, find colors. You don't have to be confused. Oh, what am I going to use now? There are online tools you can go that can generate. We call them color generators. And I'll also be sharing that. I'll be sharing that with you. So these are guidelines regarding colors. Let the brand colors form the basis. We've talked about brand colors when I mentioned um, mapping out the design. Like know the brand colors you're going to use. Then limit, in my own opinion, I would say limit the dominant colors to two. So you are using um, a brand, a telephone company, a popular telephone company's brand is basically using yellow and black. I think they branded now yellow and black. So you can use yellow and black. Those are two dominant colors. Then if you are going to add another color to show, let's say, weight, because if something is very heavy, you use like a deeper shade of yellow. And if it's very light, like if the numbers are small, you can use a lighter shade. So use that yellow and black. Then you can also use variations of that, like lighter versions of that particular yellow color. So you can use maximum of like four colors, two dominant colors and shades of one of those colors. Then another step is use colors purposefully. Like when telling a story, sometimes red might denote losses, red might denote death. So you must know how to use your colors purposefully. And if you're confused about color schemes, I think you should just go with your gray and black. Just test it out first. You don't have to get the colors at once. Test out, you can test. Use gray and black. Then when you are done, you can now test with other color combinations to see. And in Power BI actually makes it easy for you because you can actually customize your view, and Power BI helps you combine the colors you've chosen already. So for fonts are very important. I would advise that when building reports and dashboards, be consistent with your fonts. You can use one particular font and use different sizes to denote different things. Like you have hierarchy, just like as you can see the slide, what jumps out at you first is the header, which is big, font guidelines. So you can use, for you to catch the audience attention, you can use size also to get your audience attention. So you can use size also to denote whether something is small or big. Then another important step is make sure you align your fonts properly. You want all your fonts to be at the same place. You don't want them scattered all over. Then next one is be inspired. Don't stick to default combinations you see. So imagine when you buy a phone, you have default tools like the music player, you have a video player. But the thing is, some of those tools might be very limited. So you might now have to start downloading better tools to help you, get a more beautiful experience. So it's just like using Power BI. You don't have to compulsorily stick to the default colors that the dashboard is giving you. You can work your way around it. You can tweak your own colors to what you like. It's not compulsory you stick to what is there or the particular font that is there. Okay, because it is what is presented to me, I must use it. No, you can always tweak to your own taste. Then, I think one of the easiest way about this is look for inspiration. Immerse yourself in works you would like to reproduce. So if I see a particular dashboard I like, I just save it. I just be like, oh, I like this particular thing. You might find out that in the future you are being influenced when designing, you are being influenced by those things that you've been inspired by, right? So you can get inspiration from Pinterest, you can get it from Tableau gallery, you can get it from, I think Power BI, yeah, Power BI has its own gallery also. You can get it from the internet. Just search for dashboards, great dashboards. Look at dashboard competitions. Look at the best. Those things will inspire you to create new ones. You don't have to come up with an original idea from scratch. You can work and improve something that's been built previously. So those things can inspire you, and it's very important. Then also learn to collaborate with apps. So sometimes for your background in Power BI, you want to use a fancy background. Power BI might not have that background. So you might go to PowerPoint, for example, and use PowerPoint to design like a background and bring it into Power BI. Now, Power BI does not have an option where you can choose images. Like it does not have inbuilt image library, right? But Power BI allows you to import images. It allows you import icons into your reports. So you can make use of that. That means you're collaborating with other software. So imagine a Power BI collaborating with PowerPoint, right? And it can also collaborate with a whole lot of different tools. So you can collaborate with technology. And I also listed where you can get icons from, flaticons.com, icon8.com. So there are a lot of resources where you can get icons, you can get stock images to beautify your reports. You don't have to stick to the default. So this is the end of my short presentation on data storytelling. So we'll be jumping into the hands-on class right now. Thank you very much. I don't know if there are any questions.
Interestingly, I mean, I was busy getting people to follow through. To be honest,
Good.
this is amazing, amazing, Paul. There are no questions for now. Everyone is just following through, and we're excited. We're looking for how do you put this thing to use, and that is the next session we're going to, which is hands-on. So how do I then go on my system and apply all these concepts? That exactly is what people are looking forward to right now. Someone is asking, please, can we get Paul's Twitter handle? If you have a question, please go ahead and just put it there. I will call his attention to it because of time. Yes, I've been tweeting a lot on Twitter, and I'm going to ask the host to help us share his handle towards the end of the session so you'll be able to connect with him. Most of my tweets, I always tag today. I've been tagging Paul so that you can go there and follow him. And you can follow me on Twitter at Duniboke. I'm also going to get Paul's Twitter handle across through the host. So it's time to see the hands-on session and see what we can do with the time that we have. Over to you again, Paul.
All right. Yes. So can you see my Power BI screen?
Maybe we need a host. I can't see screen being shared. If you are sharing it already, right?
Yes. If you can see, let me
Then
stop
we
and
can.
try again. Let me stop and try again.
Okay, okay, stop and try again. Let me see.
Mm, so, a second. Just a minute. Let me go to YouTube. And, can you see it now?
Obviously, it's coming up right now. Yes, I can see it. I can see the Power BI
Yeah.
now.
So, um, let's try to use some of the steps I've mentioned earlier, right? So this particular data is Twitter data for
The
what
30 days of learning, sorry,
yes,
NG 30 days of learning.
yes, thank you very much. So getting this data, I use the two hashtags, right? I use the two hashtags, and let me just discuss briefly about getting data on Twitter. Um, I might not be able to show the technical side, right? But here are ways you can get data from Twitter. You can get public data from Twitter for educational purposes. So this is a very good example, for learning, right? So you can apply to for a Twitter developer account and make sure you get access. So with that, with the account credentials, you can be able to pull tweets using Python. You can be able to also get tweets using R, that's the R Studio. You can be able to get tweets. I think I saw Andrew got tweets recently using Power Automate, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
you can,
possible. Yeah, it's possible. You can script data with Power Automate.
yes, right. So there are different ways you can get this particular tweet, and so it's not compulsory you stick to. Well, in fact, there are some that would allow you get the tweets without you having a developer account. But for you to get rich data, I would just advise apply for a developer account. If you know how to use any of the programming tools, then you can use it. And also, there are some platforms where you just have to subscribe to, and once you subscribe, you just tell them, "Oh, I need this particular tweet." They are like creation tools, so they can help you get this particular thing. So with this, I used Python to scrape this. So
Yeah,
let me
just
show
speaking
you.
to that, sorry, Paul, speaking to that one today, part of the blog that we are writing to summarize this session, I will embed a short video, like say maximum of 8 minutes or 10 minute video on video guide on how to scrape from this same data from Twitter. So I'm going to record it and use Python, and I'll look for the simplest possible library that you don't have to bother yourself about to get the data scrape, or find a very good alternate option that is easy. We don't want to bore you with the tech side, but it's the functional side. How can you get this data in the easiest possible way? I will look for the most easiest way and get it recorded and added. So be rest assured when you see, I might even use part of it. Be rest assured that when you see the video blog for the blog post as a summary for this session, you will definitely find those videos there as well. Okay, thank you. What's your
Yeah,
again?
thank you very much. So let me just give you an insight to the back end of the data so you understand like why we are doing what we are doing. So this is going to be very brief. So let me know when you can see my Power Query editor. Just give me a second. It's loading. Yes, can you see my Power Query editor? Post, let me
Yes,
know.
I can. Yes,
Great,
I
great.
can.
Yeah.
It's not that too obvious, but it's good. It's clear. At least you can see, you
Okay.
know that you're empowered.
Okay, good. So for the columns, we were able to get the tweet URL, you're able to get the user, like the person who tweeted it, you're able to get the content of the tweet itself. And this had, to save time, I've just done some transformation with this because the date basically comes in its time format. So I may want to see, like, I might want to show the values by date, and I want to like show, like dive in to see how people tweet by time. So I just have to split. Then we have source, like where people are tweeting from, whether they're tweeting with their desktops, Twitter for web, or their Android devices or iPhone devices or their iPads. You can also see locations. So these are publicly available locations, right? Publicly available locations on your profile. So those are the things that you can see. Twitter will not want to give you like private, all those private. No, is what if I go to your profile, what can I see? It's public, right? So that's what we have here. And I was able to transform it, like I said, the date and the time, the day name. Yes. So that is the section about knowing the data. So we know what we have already. So then how do we proceed with this? So first thing, you must have a layout, like I said. You already have a layout. You already know your objectives. How do I want to go about this report? For me, I want to have a page that shows the summary of the report. I want to have a page that shows the summary of the whole report. Then I also would want a page to analyze the content of the tweets, right, and bring out any insights I can get. So you might have data from, let's say, your normal like learning data you use, superstore analysis, right, where you have lots of data, lots of products, lots of region and the likes. So you can bring out tons of insight from that. So with this particular one, you can see that we don't really have, a rich amount of data, but we want to try as much as possible to get all the insights we can get. So that's the thing about being a data analyst. Sometimes somebody might just give you two columns, and you just have to keep probing the data that, okay, what can I bring from here? Is there a pattern? How do I tell a story with what I already have? And you'll be surprised at how much insight you can bring out from there. So we have a blank canvas here. So sometimes if I'm designing, let's say like for the public, I know that most sometimes some of my audience, like most of my audience, might want to use a smartphone to view the data, right? So I might want to use a page size that is actually quite convenient without them having to, like zoom in. So sometimes I might just change the page size to something vertical, since most people will be viewing it on their phones. But today, let's just try to do a report and see if we can use another page size for like the dashboard. So first thing first, we want to have an overview page that like says, okay, this is so report. Um, let's see if we can import an image background. So you come to your canvas background. So this is your entire canvas. Come to your canvas background and see. You must look for a relevant image that speaks to your data. That's the thing about images. You cannot be tweeting about students and you are having like old people. Yeah, yeah, old people can be students. But like the demographic of um, university students in Nigeria here, they're like young people, right? So we can use image of young people. Then we have to have our text that says, okay, so this is like the opening page of the reports. So this is, we want to say, okay, this is Twitter analysis of these hashtags for a particular period of time. Now let's add a text box. Okay, no, I got to insert, sorry. I got to insert and put in a text box. So the thing with Power BI, in fact, you can do designs. So that's the thing. Don't allow these tools to stop you from exploring. So with things like text box, with things like shapes, with things like buttons, like you can build designs. So for this, I want to add text. here, and I'm saying what's the title like a Twitter analysis of, let me get the two hashtags. Sorry, give me a minute. I want to be sure that I'm using the right hashtag. Yes, please. Yeah.
NG 30 days of learning and
Yeah. 30
hashtag
days of
30 days.
so yep. So let me just copy this. Yep. So we make this bold. I want to increase the size. Let's see. Now, now you have to be careful with. Okay, we didn't have enough time. We don't have enough time now. That talked about contrast, right? This background kind of makes it look, because of the image we already have, it makes it look kind of dull. Like we don't get the focal points. That is the title of this analysis. Like we will struggle to find it just looking at this. So one thing we can do is we can make the background of this kind of darker. Let's see. Or let's use white. Let's test. And that's the thing about dashboards. You have to keep testing, test and see the one that works best. Properties, effects, background color. And I want to use a darker shade to increase this a bit. So 24, 24 is this big enough? Anyway, we can still test. So Twitter analysis of this. So this will be our opening page. And I also want to, one thing again, like improve to guide the audience also to which pages they should be looking at. So I've created two other pages where I'm going to be putting the dashboards, two other pages that says, so one is summary, one is content. So I can go and put a button. So what I want them to do is once they click on that button, they should like go to whichever page they want to go to. Right? So make it blank. So that's the thing with buttons. You can do a lot with buttons. So in this case here, I want to use it for navigation, right? So I have a blank button here that says summary. So let me add a text box inside the button. It says summary page. Make this bold. Remember what I said about using sizes purposefully. So let me remove the background. So, 16. So move it here. Then another important thing is alignment. Like you have to make sure that all these things are aligned. So instead of me putting this somewhere at the middle here, why don't I make it aligned with this text box here, right? Make it aligned there. Then duplicate the same thing and make this content analysis. So on this button now, I would add actions. If you can look to the right here, you can see actions here. You can see it's currently off. I can put it on and say, okay, I want this to be the navigation page. I want it to act as, like I said, buttons can do a lot. So you can use button as a bookmark. You can use it for drill throughs, page navigation, question and answers. In fact, you can even make it a web URL. So once you click on it, like it takes you to the web. So here I want to use it as page navigation. And it's now ask us, okay, what page do we want to go to? So we already have our page name. So we want it to take us to the summary page. So for content analysis, we'd want this particular one to take us to, let me see, we want this particular button to take us to content page. Good. So if we click on this control click, you should go to the content page. You see how that works. So like I said, your audience, I'm doing this because you guys are like data analysts or data professionals, right? So it's easier for you to grab this, for you to click here to go here, and this is easier for you to understand that okay, in Power BI, you have to hold the control and click because we are on Power BI desktop. But for if you want to present it to a general audience, right, they will not be able to, okay, except once you have published it on the web, that's when they'll be able to do this. But if you're taking screenshots or you're presenting it as PDF, I don't think this will be useful. So those are little things you have to consider when building your dashboards. So let me see. Okay, I was trying to build something earlier, but let's start from scratch. Let's start from scratch. Let me delete this. Start from scratch. So the layouts, I already have the layouts drawn out, right? So what I want to do is you can also use grids. If you go to view here, you can use grids. So let's say, for example, we want to put in a bar chart. Can you see the grids? The grids have appeared. So you can use the grids to it will help you guide your visuals properly. It will help you guide them properly. But most times I don't use them because it kind of disturbs me. But I would advise you use grids. It really helps you. So let me so the layout in my head I have is I want to show the important data. The important data, which is how many people tweeted about this particular thing and how many tweets do they have. So those will be best represented as a card. So I can put my card here. So I can just have here for my, the top will be for my header and this, let's convert it into a card. A card that says how many people tweeted about this particular thing. So on the column we have This column one, I can rename it to ID, but that is like the ID for each particular tweet. That's the primary key, right, for each particular tweet. So I can use this and say count, count. So we have 640 people, 640 tweets using those two hashtags for the in the month of June. So we have this here. Then we want to show another one that says how many users, how many people were actually tweeting about this. Here we go. We change this to user. So now you must know when to use count distinct and count. I know you must have been taught. But in this particular scenario, we have one person can tweet multiple times, right? So we have count, count distinct to get the number of unique users. So we have 196 people who have tweeted about this. So I might just want to start putting in, let me just put in my shapes, my layouts, so that you see how my layout is supposed to be. I want to insert the shape visual and do this. So let me use this to show how my design is going to be. So let's say for here, I want to show how people tweeted by time, how people tweeted by time. I want to show which other thing. Since it's a summary page, I want to show tweets by weekday. I want to show tweets by weekday, and I want to show, let's say, devices. How people tweeted by devices. So remember what I said about alignment, very important. Then also white spaces. Adding spaces in between your visuals actually makes your reports like better and brighter. So now color. We can come here and say, when you go to view, come here and say customize current theme. So let me customize this particular, the color I want to actually use. Let's say I want to use, sorry, yes. So you can go here and choose the colors, the main colors you want to use throughout your analysis. So if you are having 3 pages of reports, they should have the same thing, the same colors across the three. So you know that it's the same report you're working on. Let me test this ones I've already added here. So you can just click here and choose the particular code. If you go to colorhunt.co or colors.co or .com, I think it's .com. Once you check them, you can use it to generate a color palette. So this is the color palette you use for your designs. So you go here, add the colors you want, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've added 4 there already. So let's see how it goes. So in certain shapes, I want to make this thing fancy. So I can bring in shapes here. Shape this a parallelogram. I can bring it here. So since I have 2 cards, I will use it for the 2 of them. Yes, the 2 of them. And I want to add these tweets on it, this card on it, and make this background, make the background, pick up the background, change the color. to this. Change the other color to this. So let me move this color white. So one other thing you can do is to send this to the back so that it brings up your card, makes your card compare. So let me duplicate this. Send to the back. So look at these tools. Formatting is very useful. You can bring your designs forward or backwards. You can align. I'll also show you how to use align. Send to the back. So let me bring in icons. I've downloaded some icons that will just tell us what this number is about. Insert image. So the first one says tweets. So we can just represent tweets as images and as messages, a message icon. And bring it here. Then we can also bring the second one, image, and this users that shows us the number of users associated by it. I know we are running out of time. I'll try as much as possible to finish this. Can we make this lighter so it shows the value properly? Sure. So we are good with this. So we can put our line chart here that says a line chart that shows the tweets by time. So we want to show how many people, like which day were they tweeting the most and the likes. So we have the dates and we have the number of tweets by unique ID. So we show this. Then one other thing you must learn how to do is give your visual space enough. You can see the names of the axes there. Sometimes you don't need them when you already have a header. You don't need it. On the x-axis, we're already showing dates. Sorry, my Power BI is taking time to load. On the x-axis, we're already showing date, June 2022. So day of June. Why are you putting a label at an axis label again that shows dates underneath when in the header you've already said tweets by dates? I don't know if you understand. So those particular things helps you make frees up space in your visuals. Okay, I see where the mistake is from. Okay, good. So you can just change the color and you're good to go. Lines, change the color here, and let's see, we're good with this. So I want to place it on the box I've already created. So I send this to the back like we do. Very important because we want it to be at the back. While we move this on top. So we do well to stretch and take out the axis label. So you see how the visual will be different. Now, so on the x-axis, we remove the labels. We do this to free up space at the bottom. If you see what we did there, we remove the concatenation that shows June 1, June 2, like that. We just put the day alone and put June underneath. So for the y-axis, we'll do the same. Remove the title of the y-axis to free up space. Good. Then remove the background. Effect, background. So now we have to make sure that the text is readable, like the axis is readable on the x-axis and the y-axis. So all these things you can put them when customizing the theme instead of doing them one by one. So it works automatically once you just create the visuals, the axis and colors change automatically. You don't have to start doing it like one by one as we're doing now. For the y-axis too, same thing. For the x-axis. So for the title, you can change it to tweet by time. You make the color white. I don't know if the dashboard, sorry, the report is beginning to make sense like this. So once we come out like this, let me see if I can add some shadows. Yes. So for this host, I don't know how many minutes do we have to round up. Hello, Mr. Allah. For this, want to show source by time. And source, sorry, by the count as a general chart. Source, count. So if we look at, we have some other smaller values here that are like less than 1% of the data. We can remove them and just say the top three instead. So sometimes your visual does not have to have everything. Once they are much like that, just you can just show the top five, the top 10, top three, and the likes. So let's go to this and select. Let's go to the field and make it three. There's the top three. One, two, three. So we can remove the background and make it fit. I don't know if this is making sense already. Background. So actually designing dashboard is a lot of work. Can take you lots of time. But the more effort you put into it, like intentional effort, then it comes out better. So at the end of the day, we might just agree that oh, this color combination is not working. It's not working. You can change it. It's not bad to start over again. You can change them. Text is white. It is.
Thanks, Paul. Because over time, we'll be rounded up on this page. So in the next 3 minutes, or let's just say 5 minute max, it'd be great if you can round up five
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
but on
Five
this
minutes.
page. So the key takeaway is the other sessions we need to build, we still build them. Paul will have it as recorded session, and today it will be available so that I can continue just from where we stop. It will continue as a recorded session that we had to our blog post. So please, stay with us. It's 1 hour, and we cannot. In fact, it's so fast and doing so great to be able to cover all this in an hour. So thank you, Paul. It's been an exciting session.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So for this, we want to customize. So like I said, everything is highly customizable. So instead of just showing percentage and just numbers, why not just show the category and the percent of total? It kind of tells the audience that okay, oh, Twitter for iPhone they were about 9%, and reduce the decimal places so you can help them to get it. So it's better this way. What I'm doing is just customization. The more customized, you have to customize your dashboards properly. You cannot just leave it to default. You can say whenever I put in a value, the default comes out and is not too great. Then I go and customize it to what I think the audience will understand better. So the title will be in white. So I think that's the title here, white. Then I just want to show the days, how people were tweeting, which particular day did they tweet the most. So we can put another one, another chart here that says um, day name and the number of tweets we have. So we can see here now that people tweet the most on Wednesdays. You have to bring out this insight. And remember what I said, you have to remove all these things to free up space in your visual. It makes your reports like it makes people focus more on the message you're trying to pass. Let me remove the background and change this to this color. Then you can add conditional formatting to show, let's say, the range of color. We don't have time for that. Then maybe one more thing. Let me just insert a word cloud. A word cloud should be on the second page where we're actually discussing content. Or let's say, let me add, let's see the top users, the top people that tweeted about this particular hashtag. So we go to users and the number of tweets they actually put out. Mr. Ola carries the award, followed by Rachel. Yeah, I recognize Rachel. So you can see like the top. So sometimes it's not just advisable that we have everything. We might just do the top five. Top five here. User. I know you must have been taught how to filter. So show the top five by count. We apply the filter. Yes. So this makes sense like this. Then we can add our title. Let's say I think we have a title somewhere. We have a title somewhere. Okay. Well, I was actually building this. I was trying to build a dashboard. So what I'll do is I'll try to finish up the 2 pages and publish this report so you can have access to it. That's what I'll be going to do. So we've just shown how we can customize, bring in tooltips. So from here now, once we click this, remember from the introduction, once we click this, it takes us directly to the summary page. Then we can add a button that says, okay, go back. Of course, it's good user experience. People should be able to go back to the beginning or go to the next page. So what you just do is just insert a button that says back, and let's say add an action on the button. I think this automatically, let's see. So action, I think the action takes you back. Let's see. Yes, it's already programmed. So this is just a quick example of building, telling stories. So from here, when you are presenting already, people already have an idea of, okay, sorry, I'm supposed to convert this to users instead. So you are putting the number of unique users that tweeted about the hashtag count, the state. So on the summary page, they just see it and they know how this hashtag performed over time. They see this and be like, okay, this is saying the number of tweets for this particular hashtag, and this shape is already telling. They don't need to look directly at the label. The shape also guides them. So that's one important tool. You must also assist your audience to understand whatever you're sharing. You must help them. So you can do that with shapes, you can do that with lines, you can do that with headings and the likes. So I think we can stop here since we've already exceeded time, but I'll try to finish everything and also share this with you. Then I'll also share the links where you can go and get icons, where you can go and generate great colors for your dashboards and any other resources. Okay, the other one that shows the right visuals to use at each particular time. So we'll be stopping here because of time, and I'm looking to also expand deeper into the contents, the tweets themselves. What are people talking about on the next page? And I'll do that and I'll share it with everybody. I hope that's fine.
Amazing. Yeah, thanks very much, Paul. To be honest, pulling this together under 1 hour, it's not easy. Remember, we didn't dive deep into hands-on session immediately. You have to take us through the concept, which is very, very important, so that we understand those terminologies, we understand those thinking that goes into doing exactly what you are doing right now. We know it comes by practice, and I believe that our viewers will agree with me that they've gotten a lot from here. Some people, this is just all they need. They just want to see. And this has activated many things, many interests, many ideas. Oh, let me just go ahead and apply them. We know some people will take this up and apply and go far, but we also want to help others who, until they see it to the end, they might not be able to put that truly together. So with what we have here, of course, if you follow this video, you can actually do something like this. But today, let's say in the next 2 to 3 hours, by 3 p.m., watch out for the tweet, watch out for our blog post, where you can actually get the link. I'm going to drop the link here. So sorry, very fast. Okay, so MS 30DL. That's So make sure you watch out on this page. Rijai will help us project it now to the comment section. So go to that blog site, you will see this session right there. Maximum in 3 hours time. It might be updated if the other recording session is not available yet. So meaning you will still find this, and how to scrape data as well. You'll find that there, max in the next 3 hours. So I want to say thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being really there with us and learning. Please feel free to share what you are learning as soon as you are building them on Twitter, on LinkedIn, document them on GitHub, and continue to participate in the Cloud Skill Challenge. It is important. Some of these concepts are also taught there, and here you are seeing the hands-on to practice them. Until the next time we meet, I also want to say thank you to our producer, Yahay, who is really doing amazing work for us at the back end. And we're saying goodbye. Maybe not goodbye, but see you soon and see you later.
All right, guys. Take care.
Yeah, bye everyone.